free AI models that are as good or better than paid ones. They do exist, and today we're going to go through some of the most powerful ones you can access right now for free. First up, Google AI Studio. So we're going to go to google.com, type in Google AI Studio, search that, click on the first result, and then you'll be presented with the box. Just click I consent, click accept, and there you are. You're into AI Studio. Now, I know this looks intimidating, but don't worry, we're going to go step by step. It's quite straightforward, and there's only a few key areas you need to actually concern yourself with. So first is create prompt. Anytime you want to start a new chat or talk about a different subject, with the AI, you just click create prompt, and it's essentially create new chat. Now on the right is the model that you want to chat with. So the top three are paid for. So these are input and output costs, you can see. So we're going to skip those and go to the preview models. And the preview is some of the more advanced models that Google released to the public that you can try for free. And the one that we're going to experiment today with is Flash Thinking Experimental 0121. What a great name. It rivals ChatGPT or OpenAI's O1 and O3 model, if you've heard of those, or DeepSeek's R1 model, which we're going to actually look at later on. It's a chain of thought model that thinks through before it provides an output. It tends to be a bit more higher quality from what I found. So below the model is the token count. This is just how many tokens the model can work with at a time in a single chat without having to start a new chat. 1 million is roughly about 750,000 English words, so it is a lot of words. So you're going to have lots of long conversations with this model before you be prompted to start a new chat. Next is temperature, so you can work this up to 2 to be more creative, which means if you put a exact same input, so same prompt and same data into the chat, it's going to respond with a completely different output, whereas a temperature of 0, it should, in theory, with the same input, provide the exact same output. Now, 0.7 is the optimal in terms of what I found. It's a default, and I normally just stick with 0.7. Lastly, advanced settings, you can edit the safety settings. So most of the models that are live from Gemini will be on block most, whereas you can knock this down to block none. Now, what you can do with a chain of thought model like Thinking Experimental, what we're doing here, is anything that your imagination can come up with. It can do everything from what can I make out of broccoli and chicken for dinner, right through to write me a business strategy, right through to I need to create social media posts, all the way through to I want you to create a story about a boy named Rob and his pet dragon. But for our first example, let's just actually go ahead and ask what are some of the top use cases for chain of thought models. So here we are, you can see it's thinking. If we expand this, you can actually see what it's thinking. It goes down its chain of thought. So you can see all this then gets factored in before it provides an output. And if you minimize this, you can see it thought for about 4.7 seconds before finding an output. So it's got some really good reasoning, so logic and reasoning, common sense reasoning. So these are some of the really good reasons you might actually want to use a chain of thought. And you go down, improved accuracy and reliable. I've actually found, hallucinations go down when it can think step by step. Again, is not foolproof, so don't be fooled. What it outputs right here, again, can be full of errors, so you just gotta be careful and make sure that you definitely check everything that it outputs if you're going to be using it. There's a lot of use cases for chain of thought, and generally I've used it for most of my tasks at the moment. It just provides, I feel, a better quality output, and it adheres to your prompt or what you ask it for much more. This model is also really good because it's multimodal, and what that means is that not only understands your written text, so what you write down, but also your video and audio that you upload. So if we go here and upload a video of my first hook into this video, and we ask it what's happening in the video and the transcript, it's going to upload the video, analyze it, and then it's going to provide an output. So let's see that now. And as you can see, so it's a man with short gray hair. Also, I agree with that. Glasses sitting in front of a camera. I mean, it's got pretty much everything set up. It also has a transcript, so let's have a look at that. So this says what the free AI models actually good or better paid option if they exist. Yep, so it's pretty accurate, I'm not gonna lie. So it's really good in analyzing videos. So again, there's multiple different use cases for this. I'm sure you can come up with a better one than me, but the multimodal means it just is so good at being able to analyze videos and text and audio as well. It just makes it so much more versatile. Okay, one thing I wanted to touch on is system instructions. So how you want the model to reply can change. So what I normally do here is say I'm using it to reply to an email. I'll set it to be professional and articulate and use bullet points to make the points clear. So what I can do now is I could just paste in a email that I have and say, look, please do reply to this email stating that we're firm on our 1500 due to the amount of time and people. And this is the email. And what I'll do is then I'll click run. And as you'll see, you'll do a bit of thinking and then output an email. reflecting everything that I talked about and also using bullet points to make it very clear. So this is really good. I could edit the email further if I wanted to. I could ask it to change a few of the details, or I could just copy and paste it and send it back to the client. And last thing is the library. So on the left-hand side, you have your library, and these are all the prompts that you've started. So all the conversations and chats you had with your AI. If you click on any of these, it goes back to that conversation and you can continue where you left off. So always use it like a history. It does save automatically after 1 or 2 responses. If not, you can click up here and click Save to Drive. You can also go back to the library and delete any of the chats that you don't need or don't want anymore. Now, one last thing you can do with Google AI Studio that's quite cool is you can actually switch models. So if I click here and I go with Flash Experimental, I can start chatting with it, say, what's bigger? And then we go, say, 7.9 or 7.111. And I can run it. It's got it accurately correct, so this is really good. But then say halfway through a conversation, I want to switch to a more advanced model, say Flash Thinking, to do chain of thought. I can say, are you sure? And it keeps the context and it'll keep running through. You'll think over it and it'll produce the same answer, which is 7.9 is bigger than 7.11. Yep, perfect. So that's really good. And you can also click, if you want to clear chat, you can clear chat right here and it erases all history and you're like chatting new, or you could click create a prompt. Again, you'll get a new chat window that way. Next model we're going to try is DeepSeek R1. So if you type in DeepSeek R1 into Google and you go to DeekSeek.com and click start now, you'll log in. I've already logged in with my Google address. You'll be presented with this screen and you can tick off R1, which is their version 3 model, which is really capable, but you can also use R1 model, which is the O1 from ChatGPT or the Flash Thinking from Gemini, and competing in that area in terms of chain of thought. Now, the one really good thing about DeepSeek is the fact that it can search the internet as well. So let's dive into that now. Now, DeepSeek is quite interesting. You really only have 2 options. So if you don't select deep thinking, you're essentially on their version 3 model, which is like a model like ChatGPT 4.0 or Google's Gemini 1.5. Whereas if you click it, this is where you get access to their chain of thought reasoning, and that's what this video is really about. Now, their chain of thought is really good. Again, it shows you what the thinking is behind it. I'm not going to go over that spiel again, but one key feature I wanted to call out is this search functionality. It's the reason I use it over Perplexity at the moment. And what it does is it provides up-to-date information as sources. For example, if I was to click the search button and I wanted to find out what latest Samsung TV was revealed at CES 2025 and how it differs from existing technology, I could do that. It's going to go ahead, it's going to do thinking, and then it realizes it needs to find results, so it'll search the internet. You can see what websites it has actually referenced. Again, because it's a Chinese model, it will reference Chinese sites as well. The output should be in English, but I have had it come out in Chinese as well. 99% of the time, it will be in the language that you talk to. So, for example, you may also know in chain of thought here that it actually talks and thinks in Chinese. However, the output generally is always English. And here you go, it's broken it down. So it's got sources for all this as well. So if you highlight over here, you can see where it's pulled the source from. Multiple sources is really good to show that actually there is really good information here and it is accurate. Again, you'd want to check all your sources before you publish anything or you talk about any of this, but the fact that it allows you to search the internet is just a game changer for chain of thought as well, because adding those 2 technologies together is just fantastic. So like Google Flash Thinking, this is also multimodal, but unlike Flash Thinking, it unfortunately doesn't allow video uploads, only images and documents, and you can't do so while searching initially. So if we untick search and we upload our personal budget, this is a fake budget. Anything you upload will be trained on the model, so I recommend don't putting any personal details or business related details. I've put this into Excel and I've just taken a screenshot of it. So it's going to look at the screenshot, it's going to extract all the data, and hopefully it's going to look at my expenses and notify me of the grocery bill being 500 quid, and that's an area to save. Now, once it's done this and it's provided an output, we'll go through it line by line. And if we notice that there's any areas we can save, we'll then call it to do a bit more of a further investigation. So it's done a really good job. Again, I don't think we could do anything about rent. Potentially could move house, but for now, we're going to assume we can't. Groceries is a big one. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select search again. Now, I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to say search online. It's critical that you say search online. It sometimes won't. It will just use its own knowledge if you don't do this. Search online for ways to save money on my food bill and find cheap meals that are quick and healthy to eat. And then we go. So we type that in, you'll see thinking and searching the web. Done a quick research, so it's looked at different healthy meals on tight budget, which is really good for us. And it will then continue thinking, and it will just go through its chain of thought again. At least you can hide this if you want. If you don't really care about the chain of thought and you only care about the output, you can hide this. So, and then you'll just go get the output. And here you're going to get a really cool meal plan, and you can go click on any of the links. So if you want to go to the actual websites it's pulled some of the meals from, you can go there. Now, lastly, before I go, I want to show you a quick, cool little feature for Google AI Studio. They actually have a web app. So if you click up here in a Chrome browser, you can install it, and it'll actually install it straight to your desktop. So then anytime you open it, like you were here, it comes up in its own little window, which is really great. So it's kind of like its own little app on your computer, and you don't have to go to the website every single time. It has the exact same features and functionalities as you would have seen before, even enable autosave as well. So this is a really good feature that I recommend you trying. And as for DeepSeek, personally, there is an app for it. I haven't used it myself. I find the online version more than adequate. Again, it is there if you want to use it on your phone. It's free to use for now. I'll take advantage as much as you can. But again, I caution you from putting any personal or business related data into any of these models. You don't want it to leak out. This is more for your own research, your own, I guess, answering your own questions. But again, keep as many personal details as you can out of these models, as you don't know where the data is going. So give it a go and let me know how you like DeepSeek and the Google Gemini Flash Thinking.